Welcome back. My name is Michaela, and I'm just a normal person who really likes planning because it helps me keep my life together and organized. So, if you also really like planning, then you are definitely in the right place. Today, we are going to be doing our monthly planning routine for February. And February in general is a really good time to do planning, even if you don't normally do monthly planning, because it's still the beginning of the year, but you've just lived through a month in 2026. So, you have maybe somewhat of a grasp on what 2026 is feeling like for you and what you want to be pursuing, what you want to be working towards. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. What I like to do first when I'm doing a monthly planning routine is always to review the month I just had. So for me, that is January. So let's go ahead and take a look at our January goals. What I'll do is I'll type out a simple document, literally just in Google Docs, with all of my goals and tasks for a certain month, and then I will print it off and I'll tape it to the back of my bedroom door so that I can see it all the time. So that's sort of a little bit of my system. And I'm going to kind of try to speed run through these because I have a lot of things that I want to show in my monthly planning routine and I don't want to take up too much time. So let's speed run through these. I have my goals separated into different categories. The first category is lifestyle goals. And within my lifestyle goals, I wanted to stay off of short form social media in January, which I did. I stopped getting on short form social media, I think in September of 2025. So I've been off of short form social media for a few months now, and it's amazing. I also wanted to make one or more mix CDs of my favorite songs because I canceled my Spotify subscription and I need music to listen to in my car. So I did do that. I did make one. So I'll mark that off. I wanted to practice my Spanish listening skills every day. And listen, everybody's different with the terminology and verbiage that they use in their goals and their planning system. For me personally, when I say every day, I don't actually mean every single day. And I know that sounds counterintuitive. What I mean is on a normal average day, did I do the thing? Like if I'm sick and I miss a day, that doesn't bother me. If I have an event to go to after work that day and then I come home, eat, and immediately go to bed, for me, that's not an average day. Or when I'm traveling or out of town, again, those are not average days for me. So in my goal setting, when I say every day, I kind of just mean on average, am I mostly doing this pretty much every day? And I did do that with my Spanish listening skills. I actually only missed one day looking at my habit tracker now, and we'll look at my habit tracker a little bit later too. Next is to practice gratitude with my bracelet beads every day. So I've talked about this a little bit before, but I wear a bracelet on my wrist as lots of people do. And I will hold each bead and I'll say something that I'm grateful for. And then I'll touch the next bead and do the same thing until I've gone around every single bead on my bracelet. I did do that. I also wanted to play my Nintendo Switch at least twice a week. And this is something else that I track in my planner. So first week I did 3 times, second week every single day, third week 5 times, fourth week 5 times again, and so far in the last week of January 5 times again. So I have greatly surpassed this goal. I want to continue doing 2 movements daily, and I know that sounds like a lot if you're thinking about exercising twice a day. This is untimed intentional movement. So if I do 15 minutes of yoga in the morning when I wake up and then I go on a 10-minute walk after work, that counts to me as doing 2 intentional movements daily. I don't have any sort of time requirement on these or intensity requirement on these. It's just, am I intentionally choosing to move my body twice a day? And I have done that. This is a holdover from when I did 75 hard. I did film that on my channel if you want to watch it, but that's basically the only habit from 75 hard that I've continued over into my normal daily life. I really like doing multiple movements in a day. And last lifestyle goal, have an average of 10,000 steps in January. It's January 31st as I'm filming this, so I still need to get my steps in today, but as long as I do, then yes, I will have completed this goal. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it off, and we can move on to financial. I had some things I wanted to put for sale on Facebook Marketplace, which I did, and I've sold one of them, so that's good. I also wanted to save up money to pay back my boyfriend. I did not do this because I had some unexpected expenses in January. The biggest one was I have a website on Squarespace, and it costs like $300 to renew it for the entire year. So I was not able to save up any money this month. Record how much was saved at the end of the month to carry over into February. I mean, I didn't really save money, so I can't really record how much was saved. So I'm going to leave that one unmarked as well. Next is relationship goals. So I wanted to text my friends individually at least once in January. This is a goal because I have a group message with a lot of my friends and we talk there quite often, but I also want to make sure I'm fostering my individual relationships with each of my friends. So that's why that's on there. And I did do that in January. Call family at least 3 times a week. That's another thing that I kept track of in my planner. The first week was a partial week, so I'm not going to count that. I only did 2 out of 3, but it was a 4-day week. And then 5, 4, 6, and 3. So I did do that. I can mark that off. YouTube goals. I wanted to continue posting videos on my personal channel weekly, which is the channel you're watching right now. I did miss 1 week, but another week I posted twice. So it kind of evens out. So I'm going to check that off. Small business goals. I wanted to rebrand my small business with a new name. I do have a business where I hand make charms that go on musical instruments, especially the ukulele. And previously, the business was called Michaela Cordy Music, but I have a few other projects that I do that are unrelated to the business, but they're also called Michaela Cordy Music. So I decided I wanted to rebrand the charm business with a new name, and I did do that. The new name is Tonic Chord Studio. And a tonic chord in music is sort of like the chord that feels like home, or the chord that you want to be returning back to at the end of a musical phrase or at the end of a song or a piece of music. But yes, I did do that. And if you want to check out my Etsy shop, it's called Tonic Chord Studio, and I will also have it linked down below. Okay, finally, my hobby goals. Let's see what I did here. Continue caring for my new avocado plants. Yes, I did do that. I have... As of today, which is January 31st, I have 6 avocado plants that I have started growing. I'm not sure how many I'll be able to feasibly keep in my apartment, but right now I do have 6 of them, and I love them very much. And one of them has finally started to grow roots that you can see. I'll try to put a clip in here somewhere so that you can see, but I'm really, really excited that it finally has roots because now it's like it's an actual plant in my eyes. Next is to continue the composting process. So yes, I'm trying to learn how to compost in my apartment, and truthfully, I have not done a good job with it in January because if you know anything about composting, you know that you need green matter and brown matter, and I have way too much green matter in my compost bin. But was I putting in effort and like actively saving my food scraps and my green matter? Yes, I was. So I am going to mark this off. Next was to get a book journal. Okay, I think I'm gonna film a journal ecosystem video at some point soon because I do have a lot of notebooks and journals. This one I did not buy. I already had it and I was using it for something else years ago, and then I stopped using it for that thing, and so the journal was just sitting around unused. And that's something I'm gonna talk about a lot in my journal ecosystem video, is using the notebooks and journals you have around your home that are unfinished before buying new ones, but that's what I did with this one. And you can also see I cut out some magazine letters and glued them onto the front. It says Michaela's Book Journal, and I genuinely had so much fun making this. I just think crafting is so powerful. But yeah, I did get a book journal. I just took it off of a stack of unused journals, turned it into my book journal. Next goal is related to that goal. It says make entries in my book journal for each book finished in January. I finished 4 books in January. I did make entries for all the books that I finished in January. And another reading goal, I wanted to read books that I find organically in real life and not from social media. This is a yearly goal of mine for 2026. I want to go into a bookstore or a library and find something either on a display or just on the general shelves, and I want to read the synopsis, and if it's interesting to me, I want to read the book. But if I've heard of the book before, if I've heard of it previously, either on social media or even in real life, if I've heard about the book before, I'm trying not to read it this year in 2026. So that's very different than how I've chosen books in the past. But so far, I'm really enjoying it. And I think for me, at this point in the year, it's really fulfilling for my reading process. Next is to play piano for fun at least once. This is something I want to do each month in 2026. I did play piano for fun once. And when I say for fun, I mean, so I do have one piano student. So sometimes I play piano because I'm teaching a lesson or because I'm preparing for a lesson. So that does not count as playing piano for fun. That is playing piano because I'm getting paid to do that. Next is to continue photographing, printing, and archiving memories for my journal and photo albums. I did not do any printing of photos for my journal this month, but I did photograph some things that I want to print on my sprocket to put in my journal, and I did archive memories in my journal, just like writing, not through pictures, but writing. So I kind of did this, so I'll mark that off. I wanted to finish the disposable camera that I started in 2025. I did finish it, and I've already taken it to get developed. It should be developed very soon if it's not already, so I'll have to go pick up the disposable soon. I wanted to go on at least one hike. I did go on only one hike. The weather has been really cold. Obviously, it's January. It's literally snowing outside my window right now as we speak. So I did go on one hike earlier this month before it had snowed at all. And last thing on my monthly goals was to finish my 2025 journal reflections. So every year in December, I try to reread all of my journal entries from that entire year. This year, I did not get it all done in December. I think I got January through July done in December. And so I put this as a continued goal for January. And in January, I got through with August, September, and October. But I still have not done November or December. So I cannot mark that off. That's something that, again, I'm going to have to carry over into February. Okay, I tried to speed run through all of that. But anyway, first step is done. First step is just to look back over what you've done in the previous month, reflect on it, see what you did, what you didn't do. And then once I've done that reflection, then I like to make my new goals for the new month, which in this case is February. So what I'm going to do is literally just copy paste my January goals and tasks onto a new page, because a lot of these goals are going to be repeated in February and maybe even every month of 2026. While we're here too at somewhat of a stopping point between two steps of the process, I do want to mention that goal setting is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be stressful. It's actually, to me, I feel like supposed to make you feel less stressed. Like you're more organized and you're more on top of things and you're ready to take on the new month. So if you're at a place in life where it's not feeling like that, maybe just don't do goal setting that month. And with that being said too, there's a lot of different ways to goal set and to plan. And the way that you see it done online is not the way that you should do it or the way that you have to do it unless that works for you. Some people really enjoy having goals or intentions or themes for the year, themes for the month. Some people really enjoy having SMART goals instead of abstract goals. Some people like to do a mix of these things. Some people like to have a lot of goals. Some people like to have one goal. It really doesn't matter. There are no rules. You can do it however you want. And the great news too is if you don't like the way you've done it for a month, you can literally change it at any point. You can stop planning completely for 2 months and then pick it back up again later when you're ready to do that. You can change the way you do habit tracking. I'm going to do that later in this video. You can change the way you organize things. You can change literally everything. And if you think that something might work better for you, but you're not sure, you can just experiment with it for a month, see what it was like, see if you liked it, and then you can keep doing it if you liked it, and you can stop doing it if you don't like it. Simple as that. TLDR, there are no rules when it comes to planning or goal setting. Okay, back into our February goals and tasks. So I'm not sure if you've seen, but I think there's a lot of discourse online these days about people not wanting to call goals goals, and instead they want to call them intentions, or even other words like themes or habits or systems or to-dos. Me personally, I have never had a negative connotation with the word goals, so I never felt the need to change that word to something like intentions. But literally just yesterday, I was thinking, what if I called them dreams instead of goals? And I know that sounds like really weird and maybe a little too whimsical, but like, why not romanticize the life you have, especially here in February when it's kind of like a month that might have a lot of drudgery. Like, we're not seeing the sun as much as usual. We're probably not spending a lot of time outside. We might not be as active or eating as well. So why not make February a little bit more whimsical, you know? So instead of February goals, this month I'm just going to try calling it dreams. Speaking of making changes, there is one change I know I want to make in February, and that is, you might see on here, I have a few random goals that are bolded. For me, bold text indicates that this is something I can start and finish in a set amount of time. Like, it's not a continuous thing that I want to be doing every day, like a habit or something that I can't check off until the end of the month. It's more of like a one-off task. You do it and it's done and you check it off no matter what point in the month you're in. And this month in February, I want to change this a little bit so that all of my bolded tasks or dreams are all in one space. I want them to all be in one place that's really easy to find. So I'm going to do a little time lapse and then I'll catch back up with you when my February dream sheet is finished. Okay, so I did something a little bit different because my list was getting a little too long, but I'm very married to the idea of having everything I need to see on only one page. So I'm going to try something new this month where I have 2 columns. We'll see how I like that in February. But these are my goals, so I'm going to read a few of them to you. I want to make mix CDs for my friends. I made a mix CD for myself in January, and I really, really enjoyed doing that. And so I asked some of my friends to send me 6 of their favorite songs so that I can put those 6 songs on the mix CD, but also use those 6 songs as inspiration for other songs that I think they might enjoy. And I'm going to decorate the CD and mail it to them as well. Hopefully, that's my goal. I also want to find a little bit more consistency with my Spanish practice in February. I felt like January was very disjointed, so I'm going to try to find some consistency for myself, either with a specific course, probably on YouTube, or a TV show that has Mexican Spanish, ideally. For composing goals, I have a 2026 goal of writing a piece of music either for a middle school band or high school band and having it for free on my website. One of my composer friends did this and it worked out really, really well for him, but he has a free piece of music that is free to perform, obviously, and he will send this to people for free if they give him their email address. So this is a way for him to build up the amount of subscribers to his email newsletter and his email marketing plan. And so I wanted to do that too. So in February, I would like to start my free band piece. It does not have to be finished, but that'd be really cool, wouldn't it? Some big ones for February. I've been talking about adding guitar charms to my business for months now, and I still haven't done it. But in February, I really, really want to make that happen. I already have the design of the guitar charms, but I need to make them, take product photos for the listings, and then list them in my Etsy shop. So that's going to be a really big goal for February. And got some hobby goals, nothing too weird or crazy there. Miscellaneous goals. So one of my 2026 goals is to be better about knowing what to do for my car, including using jumper cables if I ever need to, changing the oil in a car. I don't plan on doing this. It's just something I kind of want to know how to do just in case, and changing a flat tire. Those are a few things I want to learn in 2026. So in February, I am working on that goal by watching 2 or more videos about how to operate jumper cables. By the way, I do think I already know how. I just want to be positive because that's the kind of thing you don't want to get wrong. So I want to watch 2 videos about how to operate jumper cables, and then I want to summarize what I learned in the notes app on my phone so that if I ever am in a situation where I need to use jumper cables, I don't have to try to find those videos again. Like, I already have a summary of steps that I can follow that's in my own wording. So that's it for miscellaneous. And then my continued habits, these are mostly just things that I do every month, and they're like a carryover from 2025, like habits I started or continued in 2025 that I really like, and so I want to keep doing them. And a lot of these I also track in my habit tracker. So I think that's a great place to go next. I'm actually going to send this document to the printer so that I can print it out and tape it to the back of my door, and then we'll talk about my habit tracker. So I do use a Hobonichi Techo 2026 original as my planner, and in this planner, at the beginning of each month, you have a blank page. So I plan to use the blank page to make my own habit tracker because there's not already a habit tracker in these planners. So here's the one I did for January. It's January 31st right now, so I haven't finished this last day yet, but this is what it looks like. And now I'm going to make one for February. So I wanted to make a few changes to the one in February, so I wrote them on this post-it note so I wouldn't forget. Sorry, the lighting changed all of a sudden and I don't know how to do color grading, so let's just ignore that for this clip. So, when I make my habit tracker, I don't do anything special or crazy. I literally just put my habits on one side, write out all the days of the month. Sometimes I don't have enough room because I don't measure anything out, so I have to erase it and start over. I kind of just go with the flow, I don't really measure anything. Obviously, I draw lines to separate all the habits and all the days, and then I make a key for myself down at the bottom. Typically, I choose one color to signify that I did continue a habit that day, and then a different color to signify that I did not continue a habit that day. And that's pretty much it. I fill out this habit tracker every day throughout the month, and then I review it at the end of the month, and it just helps to keep me motivated and accountable for all the things that I know I want to be doing. This year in 2026, I'm also playing around with the idea of slightly altering my vision board for each month or each quarter so that the vision board can be hyper specific to the things I'm working on in any given month, as opposed to more general images that represent my entire year. I do want to talk a little bit more about this in my next planning video, so make sure you're subscribed if you want to see that. I am making a new planning video for every month in 2026. So if you are interested in planning, then please stick around. But yeah, after my February dream sheet and my February vision board are printed off, I tape them up onto the back of my bedroom door so that I can refer back to them throughout the month and reduce the likelihood that I'll accidentally forget to do certain goals. And that's basically it. That is my monthly planning routine, and that is all I have for you today. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing February. Bye!